All right. Do we have any music for this?
Yeah, we do.
All right, hit it, Al.
Wait, do we?
Do you know which one it is?
No, we do have it, but it's not.
Oh, it's in post. It's in post. All right, welcome, Edan, to Mates That Create.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I'm going to pronounce your name Edan Mcgovern.
That's right.
All right. Shit, yeah. Thank you for coming down. Appreciate it. It was kind of late notice, even though we've been flirting with you for a little while. So thank you for coming down. Appreciate it. So Mates That Create, basically, we're going to go through your journey as a content creator and try and pull out as many lessons as we can along the way and kind of unpack, every stage. Could you tell us when or why you first got into creating content and what platform it was on?
I think it's the run-of-the-mill age-old tale of isolation.
Yeah, same as us too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we're all inside, left with our thoughts for the first time ever. I was definitely someone who, I'd never stopped doing anything. Like, when lockdown happened, I was literally living between about 4 different houses, like mostly just I had all my stuff in my car all the time with me. I'm quite nomadic like that. And the government's like, go home. And I was like, I beg your pardon. And so I genuinely did not know where to go. And my stepdad has this house down in Jindabyne, like near the Snowy Mountains. And I was like, I think I have to go. So I got in the car and I drove for 7 hours to the middle of nowhere.
Did you get stopped or anything or?
No.
Okay.
Because it's technically it's one of our
so still within New South Wales as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can go around the ACT. You don't have to go through it.
Sure.
That's what I did.
Loopholes.
Yeah. I was basically just I don't know where I'm going to stay. And so I went down to the middle of nowhere and I was like, okay, I think the world is ending. It's this lake resort. There's no one around. It was because no one's at their holiday houses. So it's me and 2 maintenance staff. And I was like, I'm going to go insane. I've never been alone. I never stopped working, never stopped, moving around in my life. And now I'm on this lake and it's me and a bunch of kangaroos and I'm going to have to learn to hunt and eat them or something. Because we didn't know if the world was going to end. And then I lasted about 4 weeks and then I called my best friend. I was like, you need to get down here. And she moved in.
Oh, shit, yeah.
For the next 2 months. Or a month and a half, and slowly we sort of went opposite ends of insane. She was cooking all these vegetables and doing all this uni work and going crazy like this, and I was I spilled guacamole on the door and I left it there for about 4 weeks. That's where I was at. I was just I don't know what's going on, whatever. And in the brink of that, TikTok starts just exploding out of nowhere, the Big Bang. And I was like,
I've never heard of it referred to that.
The Big Bang.
That's what it was. It was
it
didn't exist and we didn't care that it didn't exist. And then all of a sudden it was what were we doing?
Yeah.
I was saying to you today with the guacamole thing, my brother just moved out and he had this explosion on the wall he's moved out. It was pomegranate that had sat inside a glass and it just fermented over time. It exploded all over it. It was so grim.
So feral.
It was feral.
I love a feral science experiment.
No, this is next level. He got out though and he's doing much better, but it was just 2 years of it. He was paying $200 a week in the heart of Newtown, which gives you a reference of the level of quality his apartment was.
Yeah.
But he made it work.
So you're going crazy with your best friend in essentially an abandoned village.
Basically.
Yeah.
The top of Mount Kosciuszko.
And is this Tiger King time?
Yeah. Around, just after.
Yeah.
Just before, I can't remember.
Was it pre-Tiger King or post-Tiger King?
Yeah.
I think it might have been just post.
Okay, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
It was insane. We all went absolutely ballistic. And I was just whatever, I'm just going to start posting every thought I have because I don't know what else to do. And for a while it was a few stories that I was telling were sort of getting a lot of attention to them and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is cool. It's kind of, I guess, because I wasn't doing stand-up gigs anymore. And it was sort of at the tail end of my first year of stand-up. And I'd had some pretty cool momentum happen and then it just stopped.
Yeah.
Just I had a really, really good year. And then it was just no, you don't. And I couldn't, do any gigs anymore, write anything. But I was who do I bounce this off of? And I realized TikTok's just an open mic.
Yeah, and TikTok is comedy is the best for TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at the biggest creators, most of them are doing comedy skits or something Uninspired, Unemployed, Millie, Will, they're all comedy. So it's just a perfect platform for what you're doing.
So you were a creator first and then a content creator. We talk a lot about this.
Yeah, we do.
If you have something to promote, which is essentially your comedy, and then you go on and you use content as a way of getting attention for that.
Yeah.
That feels so much more sustainable than if you start creating content and then you try and turn it into a job.
For sure.
Well, like it's like the music thing, right? You see people who blow up on TikTok or something, and then they go, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to start doing music," and it very, very rarely lasts. But if you've got a musician who goes on TikTok and uses that because they've been building in the early stages, it's the same comedy. So you kind of like, because I always say TikTok is a vehicle. It has to be a vehicle.
Yeah.
It can't be. Otherwise, TikTok constantly humbles you. You get shit views for like a month. And it's just like this whole roller coaster of emotions versus YouTube, which can be a lot more consistent, or even Instagram, TikTok, which is why a lot of the TikTok creators we meet are actually really down to earth. Because I think you can't get too arrogant on TikTok.
You can't believe it too much. You can't exactly get too far into it, because you go like, it's not anything real. Because one day you will post something, you go to bed, you don't even look at it twice, and you wake up and it's like you're looking at millions of people.
Well, on that note, let's have a look at the first video you uploaded.
So we've done some research here. And by the way, I haven't watched these. So
Byron's got them prepped.
Okay,
thanks to Elle and Layla.
I'm going to be sick.
Okay, so we've got it here. To set the scene, you're in a car. The video has 11 likes and 1 comment.
All right.
Let's have a look.
And my God.
That's the camera.
I like that you haven't taken it down as well.
Oh, I wouldn't take this down for the world.
All right.
Why don't you say so? Why don't you say, didn't even notice the punches that you roll with? You've got to keep it focused.
I'm re-uploading that when I get home today.
Is that you screaming the lyrics of Doja Cat?
No, it's Molly Muldogger.
Yeah.
You know her?
Yeah. Who's going to come and join us, but...
Yeah. She's a very busy woman. Well, she's very successful and busy now. So Molly and I met on our first stand-up gig ever, end of 2018. Right. We were both doing like a newcomers, like, female comic night, and we just met and then hit it off from there. We've been best friends ever since. We've done like a bunch of projects together. We perform like live skits, and she was big on Vine, and
okay.
So once TikTok came back, she was like, I'm coming back in the ring.
So she knew, she got it.
She knew, and she was like, I'm back.
It's like Michael Bublé at Christmas.
Yeah.
What was this video? Was it just like you just figuring out the platform? Was it like any intention, just whacking something up silly?
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
We would have been, just like hanging out, probably rehearsing for like a stand-up show we'd been booked for. We didn't even market ourselves as a duo. I think we just said to one of our favorite local rooms once, like, oh, we want to do a step-up parody, or we want to do some like skits together. And now we just keep getting booked as a duo. So it would have been after rehearsing for one of those. And I don't know, she's so funny. Sometimes I just prop up a camera and wait. And it's like 15 seconds in, and I'm like, I don't need to be funny.
So
you're around.
That was on the 8th of March, 2020. So that was like literally first week of COVID.
That's awesome.
That is, I think first week of COVID was like March 1, pretty much.
And are you the type of person, so for me, it was easier to start a TikTok account, road test it and trial and error before I told anybody about it.
For sure. TikTok, the best thing about it was it wasn't Instagram.
Yeah.
And it wasn't people that you know following you. I'm so much more confident. Like, I don't know. I'm sure you'd find this with performance. Sometimes it's easier to do a show to like a huge crowd and you can't see anyone, rather than like a close-knit room of
and
family and friends. Yeah, because then you're like, I can see you looking at me. And that's what Instagram is. I know you and I can see exactly who's looking at me. And TikTok is like, I don't know. Are you people real? It's just like outlines of people.
Which, that's all because of the For You page. Because on Instagram, I mean, I've kind of changed it up, but originally it was just only saw who you followed.
Exactly.
So with TikTok, you can reach people without needing to have anyone follow you, which is the beauty of it, but also the curse, because you get heaps of followers and it ultimately means nothing.
But it's like it evened out the playing field.
Yeah, it really did. It was
for everyone. It was like, all right, base level, who's entertaining, and then it was like, oh, what? It's everyone's shot. It's not people who have. It's kind of unfair to all the people on YouTube who are like, oh, I've been working my ass off for 10 years.
Hey, YouTubers are doing just fine.
Yeah, I don't feel much sympathy for YouTubers. Man. I've made $0 from TikTok.
Okay, true.
So we got here your 9th video, which you got starting to get some momentum. This is like 2 weeks later, 21st of March, and it's got 2,200 views.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, set the scene.
Set the scene. What are we looking at?
Empty house.
No, we're at the Art Gallery of New South Wales.
I'm a bitch, I'm a boss, I'm a bitch and a boss, I'm a shine like glass, I'm a bitch, I'm a boss.
This is just a video I had laying around. So I think as soon as I started to get some views, some attention, you give me a little crumb and I'll go running. I think I was like going through my phone being like, what can I post? What do I have?
Oh, so you just had this lying around.
And I was like, I'll make something out of something.
Yeah. Which is actually the most sustainable content strategy, is to just have videos that you've already created, like a podcast or some sort of long form content, and then just clip it up and turn it into TikToks.
I still do it in moments of desperation where I'm like, oh, I haven't posted, I don't have time. Like, I just go through, I'm like, is that funny?
And then because on TikTok you can kind of get away with just having a funny part as the caption.
Yeah.
Or like
And the
finding
song.
whereas the footage matters less. So if you've got some footage, you can just whack on like a caption which is funny.
Exactly.
Well, you've had some experience with the same video, different captions.
Yeah, I've done that.
And the views have been like either 50,000 or 5 million.
I remember the first time I ever did it was when my first ever viral video, which you guys haven't even probably seen. It wasn't even on my main account. I had like a silly account before I started my main one in 2019, which I'm kicking myself because I was on the app for like 6 months before I realized I could actually turn this into like a brand. And it was just literally me in the car with my dog, and he like turns and like looks at me, and it was like that sound. It was like where it builds up and it drops. He goes, you know that one?
No.
No?
Anyway.
You would know it if you heard it. And it got and it got like 1,000 views. I was like, you know what? This is good. I posted it again, flopped. Posted again, flopped. Then I posted it again, and it got like 1.8 million views.
Wow.
It didn't change anything.
It's the belief. And also, like,
Just believe in
the
the video.
algorithm is so complicated and nonsensical. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like you can't game it too much. It's like a little bit of like, I reckon if I do this and this and this, and if I post it enough times, but sometimes it's up to the TikTok gods.
Are you a
TikTok
reposter?
Pardon?
Are you a reposter?
I used to be. Now I don't care, because I think if I let myself do it nowadays, I'll do it all the time. All the
do it.
time.
Well, what's wrong with it? I'm asking because I constantly have fought with the idea of like, no,
Well, I was ripping into pace. I was like, dude, just repost your videos. No one's
Yeah.
going to notice.
You know what
Yeah.
it is? The one thing I get scared of though is, so like, I think for my followers at least, what makes something go viral is if it's like the short, the 10 minutes after it's posted, if people start engaging with it. And I'm like, people that just liked it are going to see it again and be like, I didn't like it that much. I'm not going to like it twice.
But
I'm like, oh, is it going to go worse?
I think you're reading into it too much.
Okay.
Like I always get people like, is this a repost? I'm like, yeah. What are you going to
Okay.
do? What are you going to do? Who cares?
But
if I
even
say it?
6
It's like,
months
swayed
later
me.
or a year later, just post it
bro,
again.
I've posted Boys vs Girls 6 times.
Yeah.
I got 40 million views off one video. I just keep reposting it. Every like 6 months, I'm like, oh, I want some more followers. Boop.
Basically, I definitely did that also, like, after a while. I'm just going to, like, react to my own old
Yeah. That's a good hack. Well, I mean, let's keep moving. This is your first viral video within a reason.
Yeah.
So, 80,000 views, 89,000 views.
Okay.
This is 14th of April. So now we're like a month.
This is when I've gone to the wilderness.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So the scene, there's a kangaroo. That's all I know. Here we go.
Stop it.
Oh no.
Don't you, oh my God.
I love nature.
Did you want to describe the video, Dale?
I didn't quite see it, but it looks like there was a kangaroo playing with his balls.
Then he gives a little kiss to
Oh, no. Well, I mean, if only we could.
But like, it's always interesting because whenever we do this, you always
He
see-
got a rib removed.
It's always interesting because like whenever you watch the first videos, they almost always, every creator, it has nothing to do with their current content.
No.
Like no one starts where they finish. If you look at anyone's footage, it's very, very different to where they started. And this is a key message, I think, because when you've got early creators or people going, I want to be like whoever, they look at where they are now instead of looking at like these early videos, which is just dumb
Trying
shit.
stuff.
Whatever.
Just
It's
trying
a kangaroo jacking itself off.
Yeah, I think it's about like try once when you've got nothing to lose, like try do whatever. Like I reckon the first year of me posting, I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing some were skits and some were just like me telling a story, or some were like videos like that where it's just like almost like meme behavior. And it's like you don't know what you want to do and what you're good at and what people are going to gravitate towards.
And do you so the moment you first have a viral video, I'm guessing that's the most views you've had on anything at that point.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a proper first viral video here.
Sure,
as well.
but like I remember for me it was like it was exciting because like, oh my God, it's finally paying off, like all this work and stuff like that. But was there, because your next viral video comes the next day, and like
maybe
for
pretty
me
soon,
it was
yeah.
like all of a sudden I had like this expectation, this pressure now, because like
Yeah.
I've had one good video and everyone else I see who's popping off is like every video is a banger. So I'm like, well, now there's actually pressure for me to perform. Did
Yeah.
you have that at all?
Absolutely. And I think I was floored the first time I saw like 700 people saw that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I'm going to Hollywood. You don't know who I am. So yeah, it was
The TikTok
definitely
ego.
Yeah.
and it still happens. It doesn't matter how many followers you gain. The algorithm gives you a big smack if you stop posting for like 2 days. I ended up taking a big break this year, sort of accidentally, and not like a break on purpose. Yeah, I just stopped posting very much at all. And when I started posting again, it was like, oh, you're back, and it just wouldn't send my videos to anyone at all. And I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. You've just got to stop. Like, you've just got to post again. Just start posting all the time. Just don't even look at them sometimes, because I think the more you look at them.
Well, let's have a look at the next. So
This is your first, like, I guess, proper viral video. I think we're on like 300.
and this is the day after your first one. So like, this is a bit of a purple patch.
This is very indicative of where I was at the time.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
It's like 3 seconds.
Go into the bathroom and cut your hair off.
Yeah. That's where I was at.
I feel like this is starting to lean into your current content though, with that type of humor.
Yeah.
That's sort of like self-indulgent kind of, what's the word?
Self-deprecating.
Self-deprecating humor, yeah.
Yeah, I think like this was the start of me being like, I went insane and started posting videos about it, and I think that sort of set up the tone for for the first year on TikTok, which was definitely like, I'm going through something and I may as well get something out of it. So I'm just going to press record on the camera all the time.
Did you find that, and I can only speak from my experience, but like the videos and the way that, like the videos that performed well for me kind of pointed me in the direction that I ended up taking as a musician, and then I guess more widely like a content creator. But did you find that like, oh my God, these videos hit, I'm going to lean into this, and then all of a sudden your kind of career maybe is built around the feedback you're getting along the way?
Absolutely. And you start figuring out like, you start cracking the code slowly and slowly to be like, okay, what worked there? What do people, and like comments, like people don't mean to give you advice or feedback. They're just saying like, I think this is funny. But you start gathering little like tidbits of information about people saying like, oh, the way you say this is so funny, or like, oh, you're like, you pull face, like your facial expressions are so like engaging, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, cool, good to know.
imagine-
Put it in a little pocket.
Like, what's the value as a comedian of going to a stage of like 10,000 people and just trying jokes again and again and again and again and seeing which
Every
ones
single
land?
day.
That's kind of like what TikTok is.
Yeah.
It's exactly
It's
the
like
same.
you can just put out content, and if you put out the same joke 3 times and it gets nothing, then you go, all right, well, this isn't good enough to get picked up. If you put out a joke and it's getting heaps of views, and you go, well, maybe I'll add this into my routine and stuff. So it's like a great trial, because it's like if you see a video that's not engaging at the beginning, but it's got 50,000 likes, I'll stick around because I go, well, this must be good.
Absolutely. People just want to, like almost have that insurance that like, well, someone else stuck around. So
And if you're on
maybe something's
TikTok and
gonna
you
happen.
like at that eye tracker, if you look at it, I'm pretty sure like you subconsciously you always flick and immediately look at the likes or like the comments. I do at least.
Probably.
I've noticed, because you go, oh, is this worth my time?
Yeah.
Like if you see one with 3 likes,
Which I want to give a shout out to all the people on TikTok who are
the original likers.
original
yeah,
likers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big shout out.
Yeah.
We've got your first 1 mil plus video.
I don't
and
know
this
what this is. I don't know what any of these are. This is so
Okay,
cool.
here we go. You ready? This is 18 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember this?
Do I
So
remember
I'm
this?
pretty progressive, but I've always wondered, is there going to be a point that we get to where I feel conservative? And I've realised it's when my daughter brings home a robot boyfriend. And I'm like, I like him. I think he's nice. He has wires for veins and he's a robot. Sorry. AI citizen. And I'll get your dad's cop calling him beep boop beep boop.
So this is like your first,
The big one.
this is your first viral video, but also it's like more like you're talking, you're actually kind of like
I'm doing
creating
stand-up.
content. It's not just random footage in your, like
Yeah.
this is like your, like
And
really
you're
ties in with what
actually,
you're doing.
you're a comedian in that video rather than
Exactly.
someone who's making memes or like whatever.
Yeah, this is sort of where it like started going into like, it might not have been as viral, but the ones that were going like consistently semi-viral were these. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. I guess that's what I've done on stage for the past
Well, this is
year.
this is 500,000 likes viral, so that's huge.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, how did that make you feel? Like getting that, was that just like validating that you were actually funny?
It was really cool, and I think it was a talking point. I've never said that on stage. Catch me at like some pub to 2 people this week
Yeah.
say that and be like, well, 50,000 million people like this. it was like, I guess it's a topic that a lot of people had opinions over. This was the first time where it wasn't just a few opinions of a few people. It was like debates, hundreds upon hundreds of people like going toe to toe in the comments, like their life depended on it. And I was like, I don't know. I wrote something down in my notes app and then I said it. I haven't really, like, you know, sometimes you say something and you don't even have an opinion on it yet. I was like, I said it because I wrote a joke. Like, I formed the opinion around the, like, punchline of that joke. I don't know where I stand on that, really.
What would
because
you
people
do?
were like, what, you don't believe in robot rights? I was like, I when I think about
That's
it.
a joke, though, surely.
No.
No, it has to be.
People are really angry and people were really angry at me. That was the first one where I got like, you know, there was a potential for people to be like, I'm going to cancel you. And I was like, well, I'm talking about robots. You need to get a grip. Because people...
At least let the robots cancel me.
I literally had people saying like, you are kind of trivializing the experience of minorities meeting partners' parents and equating that to something that's not true and not something that humans, you know, people of minorities face, like robots.
I think this is inevitable on TikTok, though. It's like you can't really post anything without getting...
No.
Without anyone like disagreeing or having some wild take or opinion. It's just like the TikTok comments is just a
But they
wasteland.
drive that engagement.
They do. That's the only reason. That's the reason you got so many views.
Also, I was like, I'm never going to be that guy to be like, you can't say anything these days, because you sort of still can. And like, you know, people are just going to be a little bit angry. But also I was like, it happens to me a lot where I realize I'm not as far left on the spectrum of how far it can go. Well, as you know, because there's people that will still be like, this is really bigoted of you. And I'm like, firstly, I'm talking about robots. Unclench. Secondly, when you think about it, maybe this is a joke making fun of conservative parents and like, you know, as a queer creator, like if you wanted to get like that about it, we can pack it apart like that and I'll end up more political than you on this. Shut up.
Well, it's a circle.
But also it's about robots.
Yeah, it just I mean, have you seen Andor?
If this is one episode or 2 episodes.
There's just a robot in that, and they make you like really feel for it. I'm like, what the fuck? It's a robot. I don't give a shit about you. Like,
That's what Star Wars has always done.
I know,
though.
like R2D2.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, poor robot. It's like it's a robot.
No, it's a huge ethical issue. Like the comments of that video got me really thinking about it because, you know, there's a huge line between what's human and what's robot when they start, you know, replacing parts of like putting, you know, people have pacemakers. Soon they're going to have...
No, that's Cyborg though.
Yeah, okay. Well, when it comes to cyborg...
This is not where I thought this...
So you do have an opinion about it.
I do have an opinion.
So you do have an opinion about it.
All right, this is... By the way, I should point out that first viral video was November 4th. You started on March 8th.
Okay.
So let's do the math. March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So like 8 months before you got your first viral video. Which again, for anyone listening, we compare ourselves to creators who have lots of followers and videos, but it takes a long time to get there.
And also
sure.
in March and April, you were posting like up to 3 or 4 times a day.
It was really crazy.
But it just shows like, we know people who post 6 videos and are like, it's not for me. I can't do it. I can't
they give
figure it
up.
out. And it's like, try doing that for every day for 6 months and then give up.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. I just held myself to like, if I start thinking like, is that good enough to post? I'm not going to post anything. So I'm going to post everything I've ever thought.
It's like, you always see people like, who were like posting a draft or something and it goes viral. And you're like, man, you almost didn't post that.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many drafts
sitting on a
there are.
landmine. Yeah. Gold mine. Landmine.
what was your motivator?
Dead.
What was your motivator
Because,
for that?
like, was it, I want to be a comedian, this is the best way for me to do that? Or
I don't know. I think I didn't really see the potential with TikTok. I knew what I wanted to do with like live performance, and I sort of never really saw online posting as like, something I thought about getting into. And then when stuff started, you know, gaining success, I was like, I'm just going to do this as well as what I was already doing. And surely the two, you know, I guess over the course of probably 2021 is where the two started to just intersect and then like mutually benefit each other. It was cool to be able to have people at my shows being like, I know you from TikTok. And then I came along and saw this. I was like, you left your house? You scrolled and then you left your house. That is so sick. That is way more impressive to me than, you know, like the other way around, which is someone like following me on TikTok because they saw me at a live show. I'm like, that's way easier.
Right. Well, we've got the next day, I believe, Wait, sorry. This is like a week later, actually.
Okay.
This is another viral video, and it's like, how many did this one get? 2.5 million views.
Okay.
Do you remember this one?
I do.
Okay, let's have a look. It's 8 seconds long.
So my mum got me this. It's a cool bag. I believe in it. Who was going to tell me I've been walking around on the street like this? Just like, what do you mean?
That's a good one.
This is another one where it's like, it's authentic because that is how I felt and that is what happened. But people pick it apart to the point where like that one was super, people were furious being like,
Can you explain what happened in the video?
Sorry. Podcast. I'm holding a bag and the bag has a circle and inside the circle it says stop being racist. My mum got it overseas from like black designer. You know, it's not just some virtue signaling thing. You know, the money was going toward a good cause.
We believe you.
Let the record show. And so I see it. I think it's a bit on the nose. Like for me to be walking around with it, I'm like, oh, Mum, I'm going to be. I was living in like Paddington at the time. I was like, man, this is so wanky for me to be like, I am not a racist. Like it was a bit much, but I was like, cool, that's a cool bag. I'm glad you supported that, Mum. Anyway, I see it and then I put it on. And then I think it's so funny that my arm covers up the stop being and it just says racist. That's what I want people to know about me. And I thought it was so funny. And so I just posted that and people were like, you bought this bag and thought you did something, didn't you? Stupid bitch. And I was like, I'm on the same side of this as you.
You can't win. The second you like start reading the comments, it's game over.
Yeah.
Well, on videos like that where you got so many, like.
Well, I think once something gets over 1 million views, you have to accept that like people are going to hate it.
I mean, this guy has no idea. You should see his comments. This guy sucks. I've never seen a negative comment ever. I get ripped apart because we share opinions. That's the issue. Yep. He just posts him singing, and so everyone's like, "This is so amazing." Whereas when you share opinions, like you can't win.
Absolutely,
it could be the most like ethical, beautiful opinion ever. It is some like bastard who's like, nah, and it's just like it spirals. And again, that can lean in your favor because you get engagement and it trickles over. But then also, it's very hard to look away from the negative comments. Like when you're going through it, I find you just like. It's like addicting to just like, you know, we've all been like in a sad funk or whatever. Yeah. And you just like listen to Billie Eilish and make yourself feel sadder. It's like the comments. You just keep reading and reading and reading.
And like I've kind of shifted my attention to it because sometimes I'm like, I want to reply back, but I have to shift gears from being like, actually, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and like,
there's no point.
I'm just going to shift gears and like, if I want to reply to that comment, I'm just going to be like, okay.
Yeah. You can't argue with them.
You
can't argue. There's like stitches are horrible because it's just, there's no like, communication.
Yeah.
It's always one way. It's the same in the comments. Like
absolutely. That's such a good way to put it.
One way?
Yeah, especially and like stitching things as well because it's like you see like 1 second of this and
stitches
someone's
like,
stitching is the lowest form of content creation.
Stitches is I take a 60-minute podcast.
It's the lowest form.
I take a 60-minute podcast into a 1 minute clip, then they take that 1 minute clip into a 1 second clip.
Yeah.
And people are like, fuck you.
And then they're using the attention that you were able to create from your original video in the beginning few seconds, and then they're like coming in with their opinion as if anyone gives a shit about them.
It's genius.
But it's like bottom feeder.
It is, but it's beautiful as well. Like I've never really done it. I should do it more. It's such easy content.
How do you feel about stitching?
Well, duets, I guess it's different because duets shows the video.
Yeah, stitching, man. Like whenever my videos are stitched, it is some of the funniest things I've ever seen because it's like, who's gonna come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then it's always like some angry man on the back of a tractor. I'm like, okay, buddy.
I love when you get a stitch and the video gets like 1 like.
I love it.
And I'm just like, and it'll be me.
Yeah, it's me. I'm like, true girl. Me too.
I mean, we've got some more videos, but that was kind of the meat of it.
Yeah.
That was like, again, like it's like an 8-month journey to get your first viral video. And now it's 2022. You've taken breaks. You've taken time off. How's it been trying to sustain it? And what difference have you seen in your life because of the content you put out and because of followers? Like, do you see people coming to your shows because they see you online? Do you make more money? Do you make more sales at your shows?
I don't know if the margin of like how many more people are rocking up in person is that huge. I'd say the opportunities I might get are better. I'd say like, so stand-up has a culture of like, you know, earning your stripes. You have to do 500 open mics a week to two angry people who are going to glass you. Like, that's the vibe. And then like, and so, you can only do that, and then you can have an opinion about anything. And it was just, you know, you can get stuck in this rut of like, oh, people are only going to respect me when I've been doing it for 10 years and I'm still not anyone.
Yeah.
It's like this, they've got a real hard on for like not being successful. Which is
Tall poppy syndrome.
yeah, tall poppy syndrome, and like dying, falling over poppy syndrome as well. Just being like, oh, like, yeah, it's very bitter in some ways. At worst, at the best side of it, it's awesome and I love it. But it was kind of this thing of like, you know, yeah, because like me and Molly and people like Will Gibb, like we were sort of the youngest when we started, and a few years on, in the circles that we're in, we're kind of still the youngest, some of them. Like, it's not like we have a new intake. You know, we're not doing O Week all the time of like new upcoming comics into sort of like the, I guess, like semi-professional sphere of it all. And I think that really, it kind of elevated us up when the tables were turned, and all of a sudden it went from like, you know, how many gigs a week are you doing? It went to like, okay, use a phone, old people. What, like, we, you know, younger people like who understood a different medium now had respect, which was so cool, because then maybe it didn't get us, you know, discovered by people, but maybe someone who's sort of seen you in like room bookers who have seen you in their peripheral vision for a while but not paid you much attention, and now have heard that you're gaining all this like online viral success, and they're like, yeah, I'll give you a spot, I guess. And then they can and then they can just like you for your stand-up, which they understand. I'm talking about like 40-year-olds, like they're old people who can't.
Yeah. But it's true, like, it opens a door.
Yeah.
TikTok's never going to get you to where you want to be, but it makes people, it makes them pick up the phone.
I mean, it's like that story, I talk about it a lot. Sophie Turner, redhead from Game of Thrones, Sansa Stark. She got offered the role of Jean Grey in X-Men, who's like the most powerful X-Men, all that stuff. And she was like, I remember in the casting, I saw girls who were way better than me. Like, they were actually so much better than me. But I got 3 million followers on Instagram, and I'm dating Joe Jonas, and I have a huge brand, and I'm going to get way more people coming to the cinema because I'm in the movies. And they knew that. It's unfair, but it's supply and demand. It's like, I mean, Harry Styles' new movie, you said he was pretty average in it, but it's probably going to sell because it's Harry Styles, right?
Yeah,
Supply and demand.
I mean, you know, millions of dollars on budgets. Like,
it's a business.
They
like, does he get paid
back.
because he's a superior actor? No, he gets paid because he's got a massive brand name that's going to attract people. And the same as like TikTok. If you've got followers, they're more likely to book you than someone who doesn't have followers. Which is, again, kind of unfair, but it's just how the world works.
It's unfair unless you have. It's like there's a few of us where you go like, luckily I am actually real world talented. There is a lot of people that you go like, you know, they'll get hired for some live performance and you go, watch this unfold.
I think most people on TikTok probably.
Yeah, because it's like,
And it's not their fault. It's just
it's literally not their fault. It's like they've, you know, been birthed into this like dreamland where it's all going to work out for them, and it's like it might not, but it's cool to be like, yeah, I might get this initial opportunity because of the attention I'm getting online, but the hard work that I'm putting in long term is going to keep me
I think that
going from there.
Sure. And the resentment comes from the people who are already in the industry who don't want to do the work on TikTok. Like, it's the same in the music industry. It's probably the same in business as well, who are like, I've already done my like grafting. I've done my open mics and all the rest of it. I don't want to have to go back to square one. Whereas you're like, well, I'm at square one, so like I got nothing to lose.
For sure.
And those people will resent you until they realize that they have to then get on TikTok.
And then it's too late.
Yeah.
I mean, people are still only just starting to get on TikTok. And you're like, man, what are you doing? Like, I was preaching this ages ago. Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, Gary Vee was preaching it so early. And I think, like, I got on TikTok again. For 6 months, I was just, like, scrolling, checking it out. And then something clicked, and I was like, oh, I could actually use this to build my brand. It took me so long to get onto it.
For sure.
But I was still earlier than most people. And it's like, just got to, you know, I like how you said it was a lot of people, maybe like comedians, I've been in this for 10 years. I don't need to go on TikTok.
Yeah.
No, you don't. But because we're like early stages or something, it's like, well, I've got nothing to lose. I'll go on this app and I'll start putting content. Comedy is comedy, right?
Literally.
It's like, you just got to adapt it to the medium, which is a really valuable skill set anyway, because you're going to have to be adapting for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. And I think like just learning, the skill of adapting exactly is like such a useful skill to have. It's the same muscle that you're going to work whether you're, you know, someone who gives like speeches. Say you're a TikTok creator that is like, you know, sort of doing like the motivational side of TikTok. It's like if you weren't on TikTok, you're still going to have to adapt to different rooms of people, different age groups, different, you know, demographics. It's the same muscle you're using, is to like adapt to the demographic and the environment that you're performing to. And it's like, it's just really not that different. People act like it's not real. It's like, why?
So in a way to sort of wrap this up, what are your aspirations, and do you see it as like a long-term part of your life?
Yeah.
Are you trying to get to, you know, the tipping point that we're all hoping for, where like we don't have to make content every day anymore because we've kind of got momentum, we're doing the tours and all the rest of it. Like, what are you working towards? Yeah,
I think overall, like career-wise, and that it involves live performance and TikTok, I'd like to, for it to be my career. I don't have to, I'm pretty, like fine. I don't have to think about finances. I'm not very money oriented, so I'm not like, I want to be really rich. I'm just like, I don't want to think about it. I never want to check my bank.
You want to earn enough money, it's freedom. Well, you're just like, you can take that off your shoulders.
I can just do things and I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
It's not my business what's in that account. That's what I want it to be. And I think that's like one side of it, where I was like, I want to have fun. I want to make jokes, and I want to be able to do shows whenever I want, and for there to be people there. So through that is like, you know, you got to build it up and do all that carrying on like a pork chop. And I think the most fun it is for me is I really do like the follower base of it, and people kind of sometimes are still a bit like tall poppy about it and being like, it's not real, they're not like real people that really care about you. It's like, no, but in a certain way, you know, I'm scrolling and someone has made an observation about me, like they know me, and I'm like, oh, you guys know me.
What's validating enough that you're good enough that you've gained, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers. Yeah. Like, even though the followers ultimately don't mean anything, it means that you're putting out good content, at least in my opinion, and you're putting out content that's valuable to some people.
And it's like, you know, people are like, oh, but they don't really know and care about you. And then you go like, I don't know. I follow a bunch of creators that, no, I don't know as a person, but like, I genuinely wish them the best. And it's cool when they accomplish things, and I do kind of know them. It's like, you know, when you like mutually follow a creator for ages and then you meet them in real person. And real person. And you go like, oh, we know each other. Yeah. What are we doing here?
Oh no, what are we talking about this?
We just had mutual friendship.
What's the word?
Yeah. Parasocial
relationship. I think Emma Chamberlain's the best example.
Oh yeah,
because everyone feels like they know her, but it's like because she plays like the everyday girl sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so people have this like really strong connection to her, which is kind of a very dystopian thing.
Absolutely.
Like a Black Mirror episode sort of thing.
Yeah.
It is a Black Mirror episode, but it also just like makes sense. Like it just feels like you're on FaceTime to someone. It is very important, I guess, to for people to just remember that, like, obviously people are choosing when they hit record.
Yeah, totally.
And it's a very cultivated thing. I think people are like, oh, I like you because you're so like authentic. And it's like, yes, everything that's coming out of me is real. There's nothing coming out of me that's fake, but there's parts that I'm keeping off camera.
Of course.
Obviously.
CIA. They redact all the things they don't
want to redacted. Redacted.
Pterodactyl?
All right.
Well, let's wrap up
on that bombshell.
Mates That Create episode. Where can people find you, both online and in real life?
At Edan Mcgovern, kind of everywhere. In real life, where can they find me in real life?
Yes, your address.
My house, 22. They can find me. I don't know. If you follow me on social media, sometimes I'm pretty slack with it, but usually probably on the day I'll be like, oh, by the way, I'm performing here. So if you live in Sydney, but if I'm coming to a different city, I'll let you know. I promise.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's get on to the Byron and Pace show. Thank you so much.
Side of things.
Thank you for being serious. Now let's have some fun.
Yeah, you can breathe now.
All right. Cheers.